Hey, what's up? The parliament got motion. The parliament is in full swing right now. East Africa is making moves. It seemed like Africa, the only country that's really having a strong stance on certain beliefs. Here within the States, we seem to have a left right wing paradigm that's going on, right? Where the Democrats or liberals are pushing for certain agendas. And it seems like the Republicans are pushing back, but they're always giving just a little bit of leeway. Every time something extreme pops out and there's a bill on the table, the Republicans give a little bit of pushback and then they give a little bit of leeway. So then we end up teeter-tottering and we end up in a situation in which things progressively get worse in our country as far as the agenda. And y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know what I'm talking about. For those who don't know, Uganda just passed another anti-gay bill. And this one ain't no joke. It pretty much bans anyone who identify as LGBTQ. On top of that, they're talking about they're even introducing the death penalty in certain scenarios and situations. I mean, when the Bible says in the last days you will be under the rod of the covenant once again, whoo, those scriptures are jumping right off the page, man. They're jumping right off of the page. Um, and this is really going down like that. And man, they also passed another bill that increases prison sentences as well for any offender. Anybody who offended, they finna throw you under the jail. They're not playing no type of games in Uganda and other countries as well. As you all know, Liberia, they also are taking a very strong stance far as not criminalizing or not, yeah, pretty much not criminalizing, you know, anybody who, well, let's just roll the footage. Let's just roll the footage, right? Um, Man, as you enter the stream, y'all thumb the video up. So I want y'all to hear this out, right?
Let's move on to East Africa now. In a controversial move, Uganda's parliament on Tuesday passed an anti-gay legislation which proposes tough new penalties for same-sex relationships. Supporters of the new law say it is needed to punish a broader array of LGBTQ activities, which they say threaten traditional values in the conservative and religious East African nation.
They say, listen, they're passing these laws because they threaten traditional values in the East African nation. Hey, some people want to create life. And newsflash, in order to create life, you need a man and a woman. Two men can't make a baby. Two women cannot make a baby. Um, it feels crazy me saying this, but you got to condescend to people to the lowest level at this point. Because with all the gender confusion, non-binaries, and everything under the sun, gender neutrality that we got going on, people, you legit have to say, listen, in order to create life, you need a man and a woman. Some countries understand that if the population dwindles to no avail, that is a weakness. We talk about resources all the time. We talk about commodities all the time, not realizing that the biggest resource and the biggest commodity is population, is the people. The people are the biggest resource. Um, a country such as China, who has a lot of people, a high population, you can see how powerful they're becoming. Other countries are recognizing and realizing how certain agendas could be used as a weapon, pretty much, right? And they not falling for those tactics. Anyway, let us continue.
In our country, we will have our morals. We will protect our children. And we are making this law. We are making this law for ourselves. We are making this law for our children. We are making this law for the children of our children. This country will stand firm. And once it passed, I can tell you, Madam Speaker, we are going to reinforce the law enforcement officers to make sure that homosexuals have no space in Uganda.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Boom, 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 boom. Gunfire. Listen, they said they're going to make sure law enforcement knows to reinforce everything. And as you can see, the audience went into a burst of cheers. The audience there is and they're applauding this. This is a country that has a strong stance on where they stand, and the people are following suit. So they understand how certain activity can act as a malignant root in a society. And these people are not playing no games. I am so at awe that I'm even going to Africa right now. I feel like that's the most important place to be at the moment, to see what's going on down there, to check the temperature out there, and just make some connections and build some relationships. But listen, I don't see how any other country can try to impose on these people. They seem to be very, very austere and serious with their commitments to upholding traditional values in their country. Seriously.
Now, according to the law, violations under the law draw steep penalties, including death for so-called aggravated homosexuality and life in prison for gay sex.
They said includes death, bro. Includes, let's read that. Let's backtrack a little bit.
Including death for so-called aggravated homosexuality and life in prison for gay sex.
For aggravated homosexuality? What is that? That is actually a charge, y'all. Aggravated homosexuality. That must be like being that must be like sodomy. I'm thinking aggravated homosexuality would be like sodomy, like a man violating another man, or a woman violating another woman. You know what I'm saying? Something to that effect, like what they were doing in Sodom and Gomorrah when they were trying to bust the door down on Lot and his family. Yeah, I think they mean something like that. Like if you doing something barbaric to the point where, you deserve the death penalty. So even in their prison system, as you can imagine, our word more than likely don't happen in their prison system. If people get caught doing some crimes and for whatever reason they behind bars and doing time, more than likely, people are not having to worry about our word taking place, men putting themselves on to other men and ganging up and doing things like that, because they would have to face death penalties. And that seems like a law right there that the country is going with. I'm just here to cover the news. This is New Breed Global Truth. So I got to tell you the truth of what's going on globally. Simple as that, right? I like to keep my opinions to myself and just cover the news for various reasons, y'all. It is what it is. I'm just covering the news. Anyway, let's go.
It also criminalizes the promotion of homosexuality and abetting and conspiring to engage in same-sex relationships. The bill will next go to the president, who can choose to use his veto or sign it into law. Uganda is notorious for intolerance of homosexuality, which was criminalized under colonial-era laws. The bill marks the latest in a string of setbacks for LGBTQ plus rights in Africa, where homosexuality is illegal in most countries. South Africa is an outlier on the continent, as LGBTQ rights are enshrined in its constitution. Nevertheless, violence against queer people is still rife in the country. In Kenya and Tanzania, gay sex remains a crime under colonial-era laws, and with penalties including prison terms of up to 14 years. Last month, the Kenyan...
So they didn't increase the prison length up to 14 years if you in a community caught with your hand in a cookie jar. Yo, Amika, thanks for the $10 contribution. Says the Noah Hyde laws are why they are pushing these ideals so hard. If it is part of their Kabbalah beliefs, they believe the deception that the Most High divinity, androgynous prophecy unfolding. Amika, you went way, way, way over my head with that. Thank you for the contribution. Um, Maybe they're passing a law because they really want traditional family values. Um, that seems to be the case, if you ask me. Um, Now, I don't, I don't, I don't even know how that made sense what you just said, because here in this country, you got people serving a Baphomet, and the Baphomet is an androgynous god. It's a multi-sexual deity, and these people go the other way with it. So if they did serve some type of androgynous deity, then more than likely their country would allow that. So that's a contradiction. But nonetheless, thank you for the $10 contribution. It's appreciated. But yeah, they told you why. They said they want traditional family values for their generations to come, for their children, for their children's children, and so forth. They want to continue to bring life into the world. They want new breeds to come. They want new generations to flourish and survive, right?
Government intensified its restrictions on imported books with LGBTQ themes after public outcry. Kenyan President William Ruto declared.
And believe it or not, there's still people out in Uganda in protest of this. There's still people marching with flags. There's still people in an uproar and a frenzy, and they're taken to the streets. So, we'll see what happens in the near future, but the government made it clear. Yo, Margarita Gibson, thank you for the contribution. I appreciate the support.
That same-sex marriages could happen in other countries, but not in Kenya. He says homosexuality was a Western imported factor that Kenya's customs, traditions, Christianity, and Islam cannot allow. In Ghana, security forces raided and shut down the office of an LGBTQ rights group in the capital, Accra, after politicians and religious leaders called for its closure. They later advocated for anti-gay.
Okay, so they shut down those protesters, because I know it was some protests going on out there where they were taken to the streets trying to fight for their rights to do that. But no, they shut it down. Man, that's hey, they not playing no games. So they went and shut the whole institution out, right?
Laws to be passed in Parliament last year as fears grips the LGBTQ community. Others say it is high time for African countries to reassess their positions and take action to protect marginalized, victimized, and often criminalized LGBTQ communities.
Wow.
WeOn is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all.
And I want to play one more news brief of this, because there's more things that they implemented, and I want y'all to be fully informed, fully aware of what's taking place in the country, because they have made it illegal for anyone to even identify. And if y'all can remember, about 6 years ago, the Uganda president, that was the gentleman that said, when he was asked on CNN what he thought about homosexuality, the man flat out was like, it's disgusting. So he not budging. His stance is strong on this. It ain't like in America where, the right wing will give a little bit of push and then eventually they let up. Nah. It was a very strong stance. So let me play another news brief here. That was a day ago in Uganda.
Sell online and grow your business.
Yep.
Storefront for your brand.
Uganda's parliament has voted to increase prison sentences for homosexual acts to a maximum of 10 years. Gay sex was
As of the day, they saying 10. Uganda said 14 years. And you know, it's interesting because here, check this out. 10 years, right? This is how I know with that act, there's a certain level of defilement that comes. Um, let me be careful what I say here. Here, let me give y'all a fun fact. Did you know when you donate sperm, right? That, which I don't, I don't recommend you give them people your specimen. But here's just a fun fact. And not that I've been to a sperm bank donating sperm. I just happen to know this information, reading and following certain news. Peep this. Within a 10-year span, if you have done any homosexual acts at all, you're not eligible to actually give your specimen. So it must be something with that behavior that does something to you internally. That's why I tell people just repent, change your life around. Whatever you battling with, man, go to the Most High and pray that He removes that from you and that you can be, delivered. You understand? You understand what I'm saying? So that's one of them things that, hey, I don't know. Maybe I don't know how they come up with the prison sentences, but that was just a little fun fact I thought I'd throw in there.
Already banned under laws that come from the colonial era, but the latest changes, they go much further, criminalizing anyone who claims a gender identity other than male or female.
So anybody who claims a gender identity other than male or female, y'all thumb the video up. Thumb the video up. Because we covering global truth, world news. Y'all heard that correctly. Anybody who identify with being anything other than male or female, you're going to jail in Uganda. It's just crazy that laws like that gotta be put on the book. So all of that claiming that you this and that, no, they not playing those games, bro. Let's go.
Public support for the new laws in the conservative nations appears to be high. Well, I'm joined now by Richard Lusimbo. He is a LGBT rights activist. He can tell us more about what is going on. He joins us tonight from the Ugandan capital, Kampala. It's good to have you with us. This bill has passed. Why do lawmakers feel that they need harsher penalties?
Thank you so much for having me, and good evening, viewers. It's unfortunate that the LGBTI community in Uganda finds itself at this very trying moment where our legislators have decided to criminalize the us father and also really pushing for harsher conditions. And this has been witnessed in a record time, whereby a bill was just brought a few weeks ago and indeed has already become an act of parliament. This shows how much bigotry.
Yo, for those just joining, right? For those just joining the chat, Uganda's president tightens up anti-gay laws, bro. The parliament is in full motion. Anybody identifying with being anything other than a male or female is going to jail out there, right? On top of that, they're increasing prison sentences for what they call aggressive homosexuality, anywhere between 10 and 14 years, right? They ain't playing no games, right? They're even talking about instituting a death penalty in certain scenarios and situations. So now you have, the world is in awe right now. This is global news right now. I don't know why everybody ain't talking about this. Everybody want to talk about Takashi 6ix9ine getting his ass whooped. Listen, it was bound to happen, bro. It was bound to happen. The man got dragged. Let's get all this distraction out the way for y'all, right? Because people just joining, right? Let me entertain y'all for a minute. Because this is what's going to take to grab y'all. And y'all want to talk about how Takashi got dragged, right? All right, let's talk about that for a minute. Let's stop there for a minute. The same way Takashi got dragged in LA Fitness, right? That's how they doing people out Uganda who are alternative. That's what happened. The same way Takashi got the paws put on him, dragged, Willie Lump style. That's the same way people in the streets are doing people who playing reindeer games. All right? So I want y'all to pay attention to what's going on, right? So the alternative out there is a no. Sometimes I gotta keep y'all entertained, right? Are you not entertained? That dude, man, listen. This is why you can't run around in them streets doing all this talking. You can't run around the streets telling people suck your D and pull up and you ain't gonna do this and you ain't gonna do that. Yo, let me tell you something. Somebody's gonna test your gangster. Somebody's gonna get to you. You can be touched. Everybody can be touched. You best stay humble out here in these streets. It's better that you just chill out, little homie. You know, especially when you got all these stripes on your belt from the feds. You got all these fed stripes because you done snitched on all these people. It's best that you just cool out. He got dragged. I mean, the man got stomped. This man got molly-whopped and jolly stomped. Let's get it out the way. Yeah, somebody said it. Somebody always better than you out there. Real talk. But in other news, yeah, that was something serious. That man looked like after Tommy Hearns beat up Martin. Y'all remember that show of Martin Lawrence after Tommy Hearns got to him? That's how Takashi 6ix9ine looked. Good gracious. That man looked like Rocky Balboa in the 9th round, bro. He looked like Rocky Balboa in the 9th round of the Apollo Creed fight. That man looked no, he looked like Rocky at the end of the fight after fighting that big Russian dude. What's that big Russian dude? They always forget his name, bro. Yo, I'm telling you, man got his cranium hit and then switched off with booty shorts on. Ironic enough, right? Switched off with colorful hair, threw his hair back, and switched off with some booty. What was he wearing in the gym, bro? Like what was that man wearing? And yeah, Drago. He looked like he had full Ivan Drago. Then the man threw his hair back and switched off, bro. Hey, man, I think that was a sign from the universe, bro. Yeah, that was a sign to tell you men that it's time for you to get more masculine. It's time for you to change your posture. Certain men out there, listen, the Bible speaks clear as day that you won't enter the kingdom. Effeminate, you won't enter the kingdom. You know, it is what it is, right?
And lack of the lack of understanding by members of parliament.
So you got certain activists out there in Uganda, such as this guy right here. He's speaking in regards for the LGBT, and he's calling the government bigots and things like that. I'm gonna just put this out there. They don't care about what the activists say out there in their country. The law is stringent. The law is the law. It don't go no higher than that. You can, it ain't like a democracy. It ain't like you can take to the streets. Only thing y'all doing is complaining. Only thing this activist is doing, essentially, is putting a target on his back. But I will say this activist here is bold. This dude is bold. Listen, if your government is taking a strong stance like that, and you over there speaking out on the news, and like legit, dude, I will say he's pushing hard for what he believe in too, bro, because he's putting his life on the line to do what he doing, bro. That's crazy.
To understand that LGBTI people too are Ugandans like anyone else.
Well, Mr. Lusimbo, the politicians in Parliament there say the public support for these measures, that public support is high. Is that correct?
The public support all depends on who is saying what. But the truth of the matter is that this issue has not been equally being debated. The anti side has dominated the conversations. They've not really agreed to reason, and they have all gone with fallacies. But there's been nothing concrete, because if you look at the basis on which they were pushing for the passing of this bill, they were saying that it's because of the protection of children.
Yeah. They're saying it's because of the protection of children. So even the activists are saying their reasoning is they're saying it's because of the protection of children. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what it's all about. The protection of children. Listen, and I'm going to say this loud and clear. I do not promote any hate rhetoric, any hate speech. I do understand what country I live in, and I understand that there are certain laws on the table for these people, and they have the right in this country, because I'm still in America at the moment. They have the right here to do what they want to do in their bedroom. But see, the issue that came with that is now that people are able to so-called legally do it. Now they're trying, you have other groups of people such as NAMBLA, the Man Boy Lover Association. Yeah, this is an actual thing, Man Boy Lover Association, where they're trying to pretty much promote and push pederasty, because they're saying, okay, if they're born to be attracted to the same sex, then they can possibly be born to be attracted to little children. And that's where the lines need to be drawn all across the board, right? I mean, if there's ever a parameter that we got to make, that should be it. Just like right now, in height of the new museum, well, the new addition to the museum, let's make this clear. The people who are in protest of the New York Museum, the Hip Hop Museum, coming across its 50th anniversary, they're not against having a museum for hip hop, but they don't want certain individuals involved or in that museum because of some of the horrendous acts they've done. But you got certain people who are speaking on behalf of those individuals who have these allegations of harming children. And not only harming children, we talking about sex trafficking. We talking about an orchestrated group of people who have been trafficking children for years, coming out of the Bronx River projects like that, you know. And see, with all this progression going on within the states, the children are not safe. The children don't seem to be safe. And they've given us a little inkling of what's to come by desensitizing us, showing us things such as drag queens dancing for children, right? I mean, that's some hypersexual stuff right there. Drag queens, I'm talking about they wearing knee-high boots and they wearing fishnet stockings and big red wigs and green wigs and gyrating and bustiers and all these things in front of children, bro. And if that's not telling you that they're trying to literally break down the defenses of the people, I don't know what will. And you know, you got to understand, other countries are seeing these type of things. And they're like, no, we got to take a strong stance. One thing about it in life, right? The Bible tells you, right? Let your yays be yay. Let your nays be nay. I mean, let your yes be yes and let your no's be no. If you leave anything up for private interpretation, if you leave any gray areas, right? There's going to be individuals who are going to play around with those gray areas, right? And that's in life in general, y'all. That's in life in general. No, I'm in New York City. Somebody asked me in Liberia yet. I'm in New York City. My flight has been postponed till Friday. We're leaving tomorrow night. So I'm in New York till tomorrow night. Anyway, let us go. Let us continue.
family. But if you look at the police reports year in, year out, we've seen the cases of defilement of young girls have been the highest, but no one is legislating to protect the children in that angle. But we find ourselves them coming that homosexuality is an issue. So again, this is an issue that has been politicized and weaponized against the LGBTI people.
So if I understand you correctly, you're saying that they're conflating issues here, that they're saying that gay men or lesbians are also trying to make children homosexuals.
What? He said homosexuals. What in the world? Hold on. What did he just say? That was a conundrum right there. Let me go back.
Lesbians are also trying to make children homosexuals. That's become part of...
What is a homosexual? You said gays and lesbians are trying to make children homosexual bulls? Never heard of it.
The conversation now, correct?
So they're trying to make, right, they're trying to make them gay. But let us continue. Let's see what he got to say.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And this talk of recruitment has been something that has been growing. And it's something that we saw that was purported by mainly extremists from the religious extremists who started by saying this, and then it was later on adopted as a talking point for...
So they're trying to say that religious, that what you have is you got people in Uganda, this is what the activists trying to say, that there's people in Uganda who are watching certain religious leaders, and he's calling them extremists, and they're believing that these people of alternative lifestyles are turning children also alternative. Which, I mean, let's make this clear. If a young man is raised up in a household with two daddies, he got two daddies, y'all. More than likely, more often than not, that young man is going to grow up and he going to get himself a man. Why? Because he's seen his whole entire life two daddies. I mean, he's going to believe that is normacy. He's not going to be able to see the interaction between man and woman. His thought process is immediately going to be distorted. So, I mean, I just think it's a matter of common sense. That's what it looked like to me, a matter of common sense. If a young lady, I'm not saying it's 100% factual, but more than likely, because somebody said not necessarily. Listen, that's why I worded this a certain way. I literally said more often than not, right? More often than not. And then a lot of the times you got to understand how predatorial certain people can be. Because what I think a lot of people fail to realize is that act goes into actual recruitment. They have to bring people into that lifestyle, right? They have to engage people to get them to commit their first homosexual act, so to speak. So it goes into actually recruit. They recruit people. You understand? So that's their nature altogether. But what happens when you have an innocent child there who can't speak for themselves and can't defend themselves? So these are the things you got to think about.
Anyone who is anti-LGBT in our country, and we've seen this also happening in other parts of Africa.
Where is that thinking, Mr. Lisman? Where is that thinking coming from, though? I mean, is it Ugandan? Is it homemade, or is this influence coming from somewhere?
Yo, you know, this is crazy, bro. How I notice how the other nations, when they interview Ugandans or people from other countries in Africa who have a strong stance against homosexuality, I notice how much anxiety they have. Like this correspondent, he's just full of anxiety. Like, so why are they like this? Where are they getting these ideas? It's okay, you know, be gay. It's like, why won't y'all be gay? Just be gay already. It's like, why won't you do it? Like they literally be desperate, bro. They be mad thirsty to turn these people out, bro. Like, what is this, Brokeback Mountain? Like, what are we doing here? Like that's how they come across. This is crazy, bro. I noticed this. It's like they be like real fidgety. Like, like even when Liberian Vice President Madam, when she was getting interviewed, the lady just kept asking her, like, it's like, why won't y'all do that? Like, what y'all remember Dave Chappelle? What is this, Brokeback Mountain? What is going on here? We want traditional family values. It is what it is. Like, why are y'all so, for lack of better terms, why y'all acting so predatory about this situation? Right. Let's go, man.
Else, making people think that gays and lesbians are trying to hurt their children.
Homophobia is the most foreign thing to our country because we have always been peaceful. But if you really look at Uganda in particular, basing on what happened in 2009 when the bill was tabled and then it was nullified by the Constitutional Court in 2014, we saw that all these sentiments were being planted and pushed by the American evangelist extremists who came to our country.
So he blamed it on the American evangelist extremists. I want y'all to listen to that. The reporter asked them, who is influencing your country to be homophobic, pretty much? Who's doing this? American evangelist extremists. Highlight that. Stay there for a minute, y'all. Stay there for a minute. Think about that. They're talking about, and I'm gonna mind you, these are not apparitioners or missionaries from other nations. Who do you think they're talking about? Who do you think they're talking about? They're talking about men of Yah. They're talking about real preachers and pastors of the Most High. They're talking about men who actually take a strong stance on what they believe. They're talking about the men who are really teaching the Bible. That's what they're talking about. So, and they're blaming it on American evangelist extremists, so to speak. That's what they're labeling us. Anybody who go to other countries preaching the gospel, just the truth. They're saying that's where the government, they're saying this is where political moves happen based on what we're saying, based on what the teachers of the Most High are saying, based on what American church leaders or preachers and pastors and prophets and bishops are saying, as far as what the Bible says. They're blaming it. They're already setting the stage to blame certain people for having an impact on the world, right? How could it be American evangelists, extremists within our country? You can frolic amongst the lilies with booty shorts on as a man. You can get on a pole and slide down and dance with the devil lap dances in this country. So how could you blame American evangelists, and over here in this country, they doing whatever the hell they want to do? They doing whatever they want to do. So they understand the power of the men of Yah to teach the truth and spread the gospel. And it's having an impact worldwide. Don't let them fool you. Don't let them fool you. They'll try to school you. So that's what they blaming it on. Teachers over here in the States, that's what they're saying, that we're promoting homophobia. And these evangelists over here are preaching so much that they're passing laws through the government. They're passing laws through the government to, ban homosexuality. Very, very interesting right there. Very interesting. Yeah, we got Sam Smith wearing damn fishnets, dressed like a Pepto-Bismol bottle. We got, come on. You can't blame nothing coming out of America, as far as I'm concerned. Because over here in this country, they doing whatever they want to do. They have something called, what is it called? Is it Gay Pride Week or Gay Pride Month? Where they march down the streets, flags just are raining. Just flags, just trailblazing. They just run around with dildos in the air. They waving dildos. They wearing them on their heads. They wearing drawers on their head. They out here. I'm talking about, you don't know what's walking down the street. They just marching. So don't blame nothing coming out of America. Don't do that. Not when you look at what's going on in this damn country, bro. Don't be blaming evangelists over here, because it ain't it. That ain't it. What it is you got people taking a strong stance because they want to make sure the population continues. They want to make sure the children are protected because they see what's going on here. It ain't hard to look at Babylon and say, dang, I don't want my country like that. I don't know. Leadership is looking like, okay, you see what they just legalized? 6 years later, after legalizing quote unquote gay marriage, you see what we have here. Now, you can do what you want to do here in this country. It ain't nothing I can do to stop it. I'm just using astute observations and saying, hey, maybe they see what's going on in our country and they think that our country went a little bit too far. Could it be possible that our country has went too far? There's people, let me make this clear. There's people of the alternative lifestyle that agree with what I'm saying. Lots of people. Yo, hear what I just said. There's lots of people from the alternative lifestyle that actually agree with me. That's how I know this joint has went too far. They don't say that I'm disrespecting them. They're not offended at all about what I'm saying because they understand the stance I'm saying. Anytime I can say, listen, you do what you want on your private time, but listen, the imposition of children, that's a whole nother scenario, right? But man, other countries see what's going on.
Meeting our leaders and pushing this ideology of homosexuality being anti-family, but also homosexuals being after our children. And this was adopted by our leaders. And we've seen the same sentiments growing over time. And it has been. And
so for the record, nobody is saying that all homosexuals are going after children. But what other countries have noticed is once certain laws was put on the books, only a short 5 to 6 years later, now you have the drag readings in libraries. And now you have drags dancing for children, performing for children. Now you have Mambla jumping out of the woodworks. Now you have people who are alleged pedophiles being put up in the hip hop museum. And you got rappers defending these people. So because we're in this progressive place, you don't think other countries see that? Like, just let's use common sense here. Some countries just don't want a circus going on. They're conservative in nature. They're traditional. And everybody pound that like button, man, if you get understanding here today.
Become a talking point of the anti-LGBT activists.
Richard Lusimbo joining us tonight from Kampala in Uganda. Mr. Lusimbo, we appreciate your time tonight. Thank you.
The parliament ain't playing no games, y'all.
We were cut out behind our backs. But there's a shape for things for us.
They are not playing no games. There's one more news brief. There's one more. Because we're going to get all the info on this.
You're a snake. I hate you. Do you understand that?
They celebrating in the parliament. They singing, dancing. They all in celebration of this.
Country, we will have our morals. We will protect our children. And we are making this law. We are making this law for ourselves. We are making this law for our children. We are making this law for the children of our children. This country will stand firm. And once it passed, I can tell you, Madam Speaker, we are going to reinforce the law enforcement officers to make sure that homosexuals have no space in Uganda.
Man, imagine being pulled over and like two men walking down the street holding hands and the police just pull up The police just pull up, billy clubs at hand, and they ready to arrest. That's the temperature out there, joint. And all of their leaders out there in agreement. They cheering, they're dancing, they're singing. Hey man, like what them scriptures say, that we'll be under the rod of the covenant once again. I'm telling you. I mean, the people, they are happy about this. Listen, moments, it says, listen, let me play this one from the Independent. God bless Uganda.
This will not shy to restrict any right to the extent of the House recognizes, protects, and safeguards the sovereignty of this country, the morals of this country, the cultures, and all.
God bless Uganda. God bless them.
Always legislate for our people. That is what the majority have done today in this House, the 389 members of Parliament.
So there's 89 members of Parliament. Every member of Parliament with these countries are in agreement. Why can't we just get on board with making strong stances? I like a strong stance. I respect a yes or a no. I respect people who are about their word. I like a strong stance. Real talk. Somebody said, thanks for that scripture, bro. He says, right, violence is not the move. Exodus 14:14, the Lord shall fight for you. Hey, bro, nobody's talking about violence right now. What's violent is a child being violated, molested. That's violent. And anybody who does that to a child should be prosecuted to the highest extent of the law. Please don't come in here with the religious talk. Don't do that. Nobody's over here promoting violence. That's their country. Whatever they decide, however they decide to run the law, that's how they do it. And keep this in mind, bro. There's a lot of violence that's conducted against your people here in your country. And the same people marching, we shall overcome, and violence ain't the answer. You the same people who will be knocked over your head when martial law come. You the same person gonna be throwing scriptures at people. If somebody breaking your house right now and you got the jammy and a burner on you, what you gonna do? You gonna be peaceful? Because I'm gonna be violent, somebody breaking my house. I'm gonna be very violent, somebody breaking and disturb and disrupt my family. If somebody touch my child, I'm gonna get violent. And I can tell you that now. I might as well turn myself in. After I do what I do to the individual who touched my child, I'm gonna call the police myself, come get him. You do whatever you gotta do with me, but I'm gonna protect mine, and I do life for mine. Get as violent as I can get too. Some people be talking like this little religious talk, man. I don't wanna hear none of that. Don't be posting that in my chat. The Bible, won't you post the scripture in Ecclesiastes says it's a time for war. It's a time for hate. It's a time for love. It's a time for everything under the sun, my man. And in the law back then in our book, in the Bible, I'm going to tell you right now, certain acts that were committed, they were punishable by death. That's what Christ came for, to redeem us, to give us a second chance. But the scriptures also say that we, in the last days, we will be under the rod of the covenant again. We will have to follow the law again. Matter of fact, let me pull that scripture up, so I can read it verbatim. Ezekiel 20:37. And it reads, and I will cause you to pass under the rod of the covenant. I will bring you into the bond of the covenant. He's going to cause us to have to keep the laws of the Lord again. or it will be punishable. Back then, under that covenant, certain things you did was punishable by death. If y'all can recall, last week I did a stream that I removed. It actually ended up going on Patreon. It was a stream in regards to a South Carolina. We're talking about passing a law to implement the death sentence, the death penalty for women who go get abortions. Yeah. And they're literally considering this still. The bill is still on the table. So let me tell you something. If there's more abortions going on than children being born, which there seems to be within certain communities, if there's more abortions than children being born, who's next to be killed on a depopulation list? The women who's supposed to be birthing the children. So don't think that these people won't actually do something like this. Don't think for a second that they won't give one of these women lethal injection, have her up on a table, what's your last words? Hey, what last meal you want to have? Because it's an eye for an eye right now. We in a different time. We under the rod of the covenant now. We've been given power to take out whoever we want to take out. We checkmated you. We gave you the freedom to destroy your children. And then now, it's your turn now. You wasn't thinking about their life. You thought your life was greater than theirs. They were innocent. You foul, you full of sin, you wretched. You got all this stuff going on in your life, but you thought your life was more valuable than theirs because you was out here having sex, unsolicited sex. But at the same time, you thought your child was an inconvenience. You thought they was inconveniencing your good time in life. So now checkmate. We're going to lay you up on a table, strap you to a gurney, let you see how it feels. You think God ain't judging people like that? I wouldn't doubt if they passed that law. So when you talk about violence, listen, it's an eye for an eye. If you do certain things in this life, there's consequences and there's repercussions. It just is what it is. This ain't that soft stuff over here. The Bible ain't no joke. I don't know if some of you Christians out there, I don't know if you read the Bible. Like, I don't know sometimes. But the Bible is one of the most action-packed, violent, aggressive books that you can read. But it's also a book of allegories. It got some fables. It got a lot of truth. It got a lot of... It was an interesting book. Maybe you should sit down and read it so you can gain a more broadened scope of what the scriptures are actually talking about. And I'm not inciting any violence. I'm not inciting any violence on anybody. But I'm just saying there was wars that took place in the book. A lot of the stories you see, a lot of the video games you see, a lot of everything, TV programs you see, where do you think they got it from? They got it from the Bible. They got it from the scriptures, bro. Real talk. Let me see.
I beg to vote that the House do resume and the committee of the... In our country, we will have our morals. We will protect our children. And we are making this law. We are making this law for ourselves. We are making this law for our children. We are making this law for the children of our children. This country will stand firm. And once it passed, I can tell you, Madam Speaker, we are going to reinforce the law enforcement officers to make sure that homosexuals have no space in Uganda.
Whoa. Hey.
Are you sick of having issues with your webinars, wasting tons of time?
God bless Uganda.
With attendees?
I'm just saying. Hey, you got to respect that, man. You got to respect that. They leading by example. Somebody said, let me see. Y'all pound that like button if you are in support of protecting children. How about that? Let's word it that way. If you're in support of protecting children, pound the like button. Let me see how many people in here are, you know, part of the fold right now. Somebody said, this is incredible. Yeah, it really is. I respect a strong stance. Somebody said, Newbury, how do you know that the Most High love and care for me if I seen it? I'm blocking you. I think that's a troll. You didn't ask this question before. Same question. Let's get you on up out of here. Somebody said, not being funny, but it's still no moving to Uganda. Hey, listen, I ain't telling you where to move. You can live wherever you want to live in life, right? That's up to you. I'm just saying that this is an example for the world. The difference between a strong stance and what goes on here with the political reindeer games that we facing. Yeah. And listen, I'm not even gonna say what my stances are on all this. Hey, you can read it between the lines. Only thing I do is read the scriptures and reinforce what the word of God says. Other than that, hey, I'm only here to deliver the news. I'm just a messenger. This is world news right now that everybody should be talking about, but everybody want to talk about Takashi 6ix9ine, right? Yeah, the man got the beats laid at him. For y'all just joining, who, you know, want to stay in the building for a minute, let me get my audience retention rate up. Let me see. What else happened in celebrity news? Let me see. Audience retention rate. Let me see. Other than Takashi getting slapped all across his head, kicked, jolly stopped, and mollywop. What else happened? I don't know, because I don't care about celebrity nonsense. I care about what's going on in the world. But them beats, though, the way he got the beats laid on him, I mean, it was kind of crazy that they recorded that. It was kind of crazy that they recorded that, though. I remember at one part, dude said, I want to be famous. Yeah, you're going to be famous. You're going to jail, too, because they're going to figure out. I'm surprised those guys who jumped on him like that ain't already locked up for real. Yeah, they definitely going to get thrown under the jail. Why is Takashi 6ix9ine going to LA Fitness? Yo, if you got all that money, why are you going to the gym? You should have a gym in your house. Like, what's going on here? Why is he at the gym with booty shorts on, with braided, colorful hair in the first place? What are we doing here? I'm a millionaire with a mansion. I'm not going to nobody's gym. The way his face looked, it looked like he got hit with a dumbbell. That man's face looked like he got hit with a two-piece and a biscuit. That man looked like he got roundhouse kicked. They look like they just let loose Hadouken. They whooped on that dude, bro. And then, like, he had his leg in the air. Yo, he had his leg in the air. Man, that's crazy, bro. Yo, that's why you just can't be talking like that. All you youngers out there, bro, y'all can't be running around. Y'all just can't be running around telling grown men to suck your D and just being just mad disrespectful. Like, some people just really, they really need that. Like, one thing about it, men are action oriented, right? A lot of men don't learn until it's their turn. They don't learn until, like, sometimes an ass whooping will change your life. Like the type of beating that Takashi got, I think that might change his life. That might have saved him. The next time you see that man, he may be humble. I think he will be. That was the type of ass whooping that humbles you. Like, all that cocky stuff, you know, all that burner talk, all that blicky talk, all that run up on me, pull up talk. I'm telling you, bro, you're going to see this man in a three-piece suit, and he is going to be Hernandez again. Takashi is gone. He is now Hernandez, whatever his last name is. He has been brought back to reality. I'm telling you. Growing up, I've seen those kind of beatings laid on people, bro. I've seen them kind of beatings laid on people. And those dudes become distinguished gentlemen they may disappear off the scene for a little bit, but they come back with cardigan sweaters. They come back with khakis. They legit come back on point, bro. I'm telling you. You're gonna see, listen, you're gonna see that man tattoos. He might remove the tattoos off his face. Seriously. That's what he should do. That's gonna show growth. Like, that's what Takashi should do. Take your tattoos off your face. Just change your entire life, bro. Man, give it up. Just give it up to the Lord, bro. For real. Because they seriously could have killed that man. Yeah. They seriously could have killed that man. Like, that was one of them beatings, one wrong blow, and he was defenseless. Yo, that man was vulnerable. He had the most vulnerable look on his face, bro. Yeah, they gave him the stomps, man. Your man looked vulnerable. Like, as a grown man, you never want to be looking on camera, looking vulnerable. Like, you know, it's something about them ass whoopings when you get dragged. Them are the worst. Like, if you getting beat and the next thing you know, you on one part of the floor and then you getting dragged to another part and you, man, that, like, you literally got crinkled up. Like, you got cranked up. They tuned that man up. That was a good one. They tuned him up for real. That's something like, he gonna live. He gonna survive. He gonna sleep it off. That's what happened. You live to fight another day. But that man got tightened up, bro. That changed your life. All you youngins should learn from that. Stop all that talking, bro. Stop all that talking. Real talk. Somebody said, I was analyzing it and those stomps to the ribs were real. I'm surprised they didn't crack a few. Yeah, he did. He did. He got rushed to the hospital, bro. They definitely said he had some abdominal injuries. No, those were definitely real. People talking about, yo, he staged it. Yo, why y'all think everybody staged everything? Y'all can't tell the difference between a real pack out, a real pack down, a wolf packing, if you will, and something that's staged. No, man, don't nobody want to be seen like that. Who gonna stage something like that? Like, he gonna upload, like he gonna stage getting punished like that for attention. No, that ruined his whole reputation. That man's whole reputation is ruined because he's known as that tough guy who does all this talking. He can do whatever he wants and nobody can touch him. Ain't nobody gonna stage that. Yeah, somebody said, I think most people already chose their path, right? Yeah, man, it is what it is, bro. I'm about to go down to this hotel gym, the little fitness center, and get it in. Get some exercise done, man. Meet up with some brethren out here in NYC. Got some brothers down here as well that I traveled with. Got the fam out this joint, man. We moving. And I'll be taking off. I'll be leaving New York City tomorrow night. Somebody said, thanks for your dedication. You already know. Yeah, somebody said it. That man's street credit is gone. Ain't nobody faking that. Yeah, I'm going to enjoy NYC, man. I had Yachty's. I don't know y'all New York people know about Yachty's. Yachty's jerk chicken out here in Jamaica, Queens. Oh, man. Yo, I ain't gonna lie, that was the best Jamaican food I had in a minute. If y'all know some good food places down here, let me know. Because after I get this workout in, my brother gonna want to have some food to eat. So y'all let me know what's out here in the comment section. Y'all if y'all in New York, jump in the comment section. Let me know what's in the area, what's in Queens area. But look, all praises to the Most High. I love y'all, man. Y'all have a blessed one. I will be making content in Liberia. And I'll be making more content while I'm here in NY too. But I love y'all. Shalom. Peace.